Good morning, good afternoon, and hopefully not good evening, but even if you are joining us online, this is the Year 8 Science Christmas Special lesson. It's been a really tough year and tough term, and we appreciate the work that you have done in Year 8. So we wanted to celebrate this final lesson by doing something a bit different, but still science related, but a little bit of fun. So we're going to have a bit of a quiz. And we're going to go through some concepts that we've learnt over the past 2 years, or past year and a half, I should say. And we're going to, A, for the challenge, complete the Christmas science quiz, and B, hopefully, explain through science how Santa can do some of the impossible. So it should be a little bit of fun for us. My name is Mr. Kanwar. I'm a Director of Science. I did some of the energy lessons earlier on this year online, so I'm bringing you this special edition of a lesson. So, what do we need? You will need some paper, and you'll need some graph paper actually. You'll need a calculator, and you'll need a pencil and pen. If it allows, you can work in teams. I imagine because of social distancing, just i.e. with the person next to you, so you can work in pairs. There are only 10 questions, although some of them will require quite a bit of working out. So you can have teams, or you can do it by yourselves. However, just to get you started, there is a crossword puzzle, and with this you can work on it throughout the lesson, in between giving some of the questions. So for example, if you finish the question and you know the answer straight away, rather than sit there and just get bored and wait for the next question, you can work on this crossword. There are some clues and some hints on the bottom. All the words are there, so it's just a question of trying to fit all the words onto that crossword. So that is what we are going to do. So let's start on the quiz. Question number 1. Let's fire away straight away. Okay, so Santa has the ability, like E.T., to fly through the sky with his reindeers. Can you draw a force diagram? So can you draw a force diagram showing the different forces acting upon him and his sleigh as he is in the air? So if you can remember, when we draw our force diagrams, we have an upwards force, we have two sidewards forces, and a downwards force. What you will need to draw is, you can draw the sled if you want, or you can draw a box and call it Santa's sleigh, as the image shows, and then you need to draw a force diagram to show the different forces. 4 marks available here, so that's what you'll need to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that, starting now. Now, if I could get my video to start off properly, I'd know that I wouldn't have it on silent. Here we go, 30 seconds. So we will move to question number 2. So, Brussels sprouts, and I have to admit I'm not a fan of Brussels sprouts to be honest, contain a chemical called sulforaphane. sulforaphane, which has the formula C6H11NOS2. So there are two parts to this question. How many elements and atoms are there in sulforaphane? Okay, so how many elements are there and how many atoms are there? If you didn't know what some Brussels sprouts look like, well, that's what they look like. Although I have to admit, I do prefer the ones that are cooked in like bacon, because I think they're better, or they definitely taste nicer. Again, I will give you 2 minutes. However, what I'm going to do is my timer will start with just a minute. So if the teacher is there, they can press pause if it's in the lesson, or if you're at home self-isolating, just press pause, give yourself the 2 minutes, and I'm going to count from 30 seconds. Okay, here we go. There we go, there's our 30 seconds, or the 2 minutes, depending on how much you use. On to question 3. Okay, so one of the gifts the 3 wise men brought to baby Jesus was gold. We know that. What is the chemical symbol for the element gold? So you can use your periodic table if you wish. And then also, can you describe at least 2 properties of gold? And when I'm talking about properties, I'm talking about give me some statements about gold, about its true form. So tell me about it, basically. What makes gold gold? What makes it special? Tell me some details about it, hence the properties. And again, what I'm going to do is I will give you a minute on this. The minute's talking, so you can write down the answers now, and I'll give you a 30-second countdown. There we go. There's our 30 seconds for question number 3. Okay, question number 4. In the Christmas story, Mary is described as being a virgin. Okay. Virgin births are possible due to the modern science of IVF. 2 parts of this question. What do the initials IVF stand for? And name the 2 specialised cells that you can see in the image that make up part of the IVF process. If you want to go a bit further, you can tell me where they're made and what their roles are, just for additional bonus. But that's what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at virgin births are possible due to modern science of IVF. What does IVF stand for? And name the 2 specialised cells. Once again, you can pause the timer here and give 2 minutes. However, I'm now going to give you the last 30 seconds. There we go, that's question 4. Question 5. Okay, a bit of physics here. So Santa has decided to travel to Saturn. Why? I have no idea, but he's decided to. But then the man can do whatever he wants, can't he? Which has a gravitational field strength, so the strength of the gravity, of 63.75 newtons per kilogram. On Earth, the gravitational field strength is 9.8 newtons per kilogram. So that's what it is on Earth, 9.8. However, Saturn is 63.75. Basically, you would weigh more on Saturn than you would on Earth because the gravity is much stronger. If the gravity is much stronger, by the way, you'd also be smaller. You'd probably be crushed, to be honest. How much more does he weigh on Saturn? If the mass of him is 95 kilos, so he weighs 95, and each reindeer, of which there are 8 in total, is 73 kilos. I'm going to give you a little hint. I'm going to tell you the equation that you need to use. Weight equals mass times gravitational field strength. My only other hint is you'll need to work out the total mass on one planet and the total mass on the other planet, and then work out the difference. You will need quite a bit of time for this, so I'm going to give you 3 minutes, and I will put 3 minutes on the actual PowerPoint slide, starting now. One minute remaining. There you have it. There's your time up for question number 5. So all we need is a difference there. So question number 6. In the song, The 12 Days of Christmas, how many, 1, different species of birds are mentioned? And what is the total number of birds? So what you want to do is you now want to sing it to yourselves. And once you start singing yourselves, you should be able to work it out. Hopefully there is someone who can sing it. If not, perhaps it can be played for you. But even so, how many different number of birds are mentioned and what is the total number of birds? I'm going to give you 2 minutes. There we go. So that's question number 6, and hopefully the renditions of the 12 Days of Christmas have now come to an end. Question number 7. An image of these animals. This is a special species, 15 centimetres tall, spotted in 2019. So we didn't know anything about them, and they hadn't been seen for 30 years. The question is, what are they? What are they? So have a look at them. What do you think they are? I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think about what they could possibly be before I show you some hints. So there we go. And now some hints for you. Could it be a tiny deer? Could it be tiny brown rats? Could it be tiny porcupines? Or could it be a tiny moose? 30 seconds. There we go. 7. Question 8. The 3 kings or wise men used camels for transport. Describe as many camel adaptations as you can. Here's a Bactrian camel. There we go. From the area of Bactria in Central Asia. And there's a good looking fella called, I'm not sure what he's called actually. I'm not sure what sort of camel that is. But anyway, what I want you to do is describe as many camel adaptations as you can. And I'm going to give you a bit of time to tell me what the adaptation is and tell me how it works. Okay? And I'll give you a good 3 minutes on this. There we are, question 8, all about camels and biology. So, a bit more biology. We know Christmas is a great time to be around friends and family, although might not be around as many friends and family this time round. But even so, Santa also likes his food and his belt is a tad tight. He wants to make sure he can still fit into his clothes. How many calories are in his Christmas dinner? So you're going to work out how many calories he's eaten. It might surprise you. So he has eaten what? 3 slices of turkey, 4 pigs in blanket, 1 Yorkshire pudding. I know some of you might disagree with the idea of Yorkshire pudding being in a Christmas dinner, but most of us are in Yorkshire. 7 roast potatoes, 4 carrots, 3 parsnips. I prefer the honey ones, to be honest. 4 stuffing bowls, 2 sprouts, 25 grams of cranberry sauce. He's obviously clearly measured this out, and 50 grams of gravy. There's his beautiful meal. Now, for you to work anything out, you need some nutritional value. So, per 1, these are the nutritional values. So, 1 pig's in blanket in calories is worth 75 calories. 1 slice of turkey is worth 62.5. 1 carrot is 17.5 calories. A stuffing bowl is 63.7 calories. A sprout is 29. 100 grams of cranberry sauce is 86. 100 grams of gravy is 72. A Yorkshire pudding is 98. A roast potato is 88. And a parsnip is 66. So they're the nutritional values of each of those. Now what you need to do is work out how many calories are in his whole Christmas dinner. It's going to take a bit of a while. You need to do some working out. You need a calculator, a pen, and you need to be careful with the numbers, let me just say. So just look at the nutritional value. Particularly my clue is in the 2 sources. Do have a think. Right, you can have 3 minutes. Off you go. Remember, if at any point you are complete, you can carry on with the crossword. And 30-second countdown. Nine, and our final question. So, we love graphs, so we're going to draw a graph. Each of Santa's reindeer has eaten 15% of their body weight extra on Christmas Day, and now weigh 15% more. Can you draw a bar chart of their differing weights? Round up to the nearest 5 if their starting weights were, so Dasher was 100 kilograms, Prancer 130, Vixen 115, Comet 200, Cupid 150, Donner 170, and Blitzen 130, with Rudolph being 165. So that's what their weight is. Now, to work out a percentage, the easiest way to do it is you can times each number by 1.15. That's how you'd work out 15% extra. So, and then what you'll need to do is draw a bar graph. So you need to do the calculations first. So get your calculator. I'm going to give you a minute to work out each of the calculations. So a minute starts now. So 30 more seconds to work out those. So hopefully you've worked them out. If you haven't, you've still got a bit more time to work them out. The next job is to get your graph paper and you're going to plot that bar chart. Now, this shouldn't take any longer than 5 minutes. So what I'm going to ask the teacher to do here, or ask you to do if you're self-isolating and watching this from home, is to pause the video, give yourself enough time to complete the bar chart. I think it should take you 5 minutes. Shouldn't take you any longer than that. Think about how much, so the x-axis is the bottom. What are you going to put on the bottom? The clue is the reindeers. And then up the side, what's the maximum you're going to go up to? Well, I'm going to tell you the maximum is 250. So think about how you're going to go up. Okay, think about what your scale is going to be. Make sure, there are 4 points available here, make sure that you label it correctly. So you're going to have 5 minutes. I'm going to stop talking, but I'm going to go straight onto the next slide. However, classroom teacher, or if you're self-isolating, you now need to pause this video. So we come to the answers. So question number 1, are we ready? Are we ready? Have we got a different coloured pen? Have we got something else to mark them with? You can mark each other's, or you can look at the person's next to you and swap the sheets over, whatever you decide to do. Let's get marking them. So Santa has the ability, like E.T., to fly through the sky with his reindeers. Can you draw a force diagram showing the different forces acting upon him and his sleigh as he is in the air? So it is very similar to a plane. There are 4 marks. So here we go. There's the plane. Instead, replace the plane by Santa, and then you get thrust going forward. So that's presumably from the reindeer magic. Drag, because that's the force dragging it back. Okay. You've got lift. That's the upwards force. And then you've got gravity. And that is the force pulling it down. Okay, so you got your 4: drag, lift, thrust, and gravity. 1 point for each, and you should have drawn that force diagram as so. That's question 1. Question number 2. Brussels sprouts contain a chemical called sulforaphane, which has the formula C6H11NOS2. How many different elements are there and atoms are there in sulforaphane? So what we've got, elements, we've got carbon, C, we've got hydrogen. Oh, I've made a mistake on the PowerPoint. Oh well. We've got carbon, C, we've got hydrogen, H, we've got nitrogen, N, and we've got oxygen, O, and we've got S for sulfur. So actually, my PowerPoint is wrong. There are 5. Okay, so there are 5 elements. Atoms, we've got 6 carbons, we've got 11 hydrogens, we've got 1 nitrogen, 1 oxygen, and 2 sulfur. So there are 21 atoms. Okay, there are 21 atoms in sulforaphane, and it's worth 2 points. 1 for the elements. I wouldn't have got that point because I've clearly done it wrong. It should be 5, and the atoms are 21. That's the thing with live lessons, you see. You can even make mistakes. And I'm not going to correct it. You can see that. And we all do it. And we all need to learn from it. So that's question. Now, question number 3. One of the gifts the 3 wise men brought to baby Jesus was gold. What is the chemical symbol for the element gold? And you can use your periodic table, or you should have, if you couldn't know it. And can you describe at least 2 properties? So, the chemical symbol is AU. And there are lots of answers you can have, but any 2 of it's shiny, it's metal, it's malleable, or it is a good conductor. So any 2 of those, and it would be worth 3 points in total. So gold is AU, and it could be shiny, metal, malleable, or a good conductor. Question number 4. In the Christmas story, Mary is described as being a virgin. Virgin births are possible due to the modern science of IVF. What do the initials IVF stand for? And name the 2 specialised cells. So, what have we got? IVF, let's see, it stands for in vitro fertilisation. Okay, and name the 2 specialised cells. They are a sperm and an egg. Possible marks here, we've got 3 points. You're welcome to stop the video because I did say in the original question that if you wanted to tell us a bit more about where sperm and egg are made and how they get to their how do they get to the point of fertilisation, then just pause the video and you can have a discussion over it. But otherwise, it's worth 3 points, that one. So, question number 5. Santa has decided to travel to Saturn, which has a gravitational field strength of 63.75 newtons per kilogram. On Earth, the gravitational field strength is 9.8 newtons per kilogram. How much more does he weigh on Saturn if the mass of him is 95 kilos and each reindeer, 8 in total, is 73 kilos? Using the equation weight equals mass times gravitational field strength. So what do we need to do first? We need to work out what the mass is of all the reindeer and Santa together. So bracket 73 times 8, because that's the reindeer mass, add the 95 and you get 679 kilos. Okay, that 679 you have to times it by 9.8 to work out the weight, which is 6,654.2 newtons. So that's what you need to do for Earth. The next stage is you do the same for Saturn. However, we've already worked out 679, so all we do this time is 679 times 63.75, and we get 43,286.25 newtons. What we need to know is how much more does he weigh? And the difference is 43,286.25 minus 6654.2, and we get the answer 36,632.05 newtons. You get 1 mark for the Earth calculation of 6654.2. You get 1 mark for the 43,286.25 calculation, which is the Saturn, and then you'll get 1 mark for the 36,000. Okay. Question 6. So in the song The 12 Days of Christmas, how many different species of birds are mentioned and what is the total number of birds? The answer, and someone can play the song, so hopefully you can pause the video here and you can play that song. I can't play it because of copyright issues, so but you can play the song now, and then let's have a well, we can have a sing along to it. So, well, I won't, but you can. So there's 6 species of bird, and in total there are 23 total number of birds. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, because the first 4 are, and then 6 and 7. Okay, that's your answer to that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 7, because there's only 5 gold rings in between. So that's question 6. Question 7. This is a species 15 centimetres tall, spotted in 2019 but haven't been seen for 30 years. What are they? It is the very first one. Tiny deer. They're not rats, they're not porcupines, and they're not moose. So the answer is tiny deer for 1 mark. So hopefully that was nice and easy, but they're mega small, those. Question number 8. The 3 kings or wise men used camels for transport. Describe as many camel adaptations as you can. So here we go. We've got a camel, and you can get any one of these. There's 3 points max, so any 3 of these. So everyone's going to talk about the hump. If you said it stores fat, you're not going to get the mark. You need to say it stores water. What am I saying? I'm saying it wrong. You need to say it stores fat but not water. Hence they can go without eating for a long time. Some of you probably have got long bushy eyelashes to keep out the sand and sun, and you probably got webbed feet to prevent sinking, so it increases the surface area. You can also have slit-like nostrils, so they prevent sound from going in, a leathery mouth for chewing thorny plants, leathery knee pads because they kneel, and strong, sturdy thighs. They're the sort of adaptations a camel can have. Okay, some of you may have put thick insulation layer, or you could have put fur. That's fine as well, depending on what you put down. You can only get 3 points for that one. Okay, so that's question 8. Question 9. So, Santa has eaten a lot. 3 slices of turkey, 4 pigs in blanket, 1 Yorkshire pudding, 7 roast potatoes, 4 carrots, 3 parsnips, 2 sprouts, 50 grams of gravy, 25 grams of cranberry, and 4 stuffing balls. So what we need to do is we need to make a big calculation. So first, 3 times 62.5, add 4 times 75, which is the pigs in blanket. Add 98, which is the Yorkshire pudding. 7 times 88, which is the roast potatoes. Add 4 times 17 and a half, which is the carrots. 3 times 66, which is the parsnips. 2 times 29, which is the sprouts. 4 times 63.7, which is the stuffing balls. Now, you've only got 25 grams and 50 grams of the two sauces. So here we do 86, which is the cranberry sauce, divided by 4, because there are 4 25s in 100. And then we do 72 divided by 2, because there are 2 50s in 100. And in total, we get to 1,839.8 calories, which is a lot of calories. So no wonder he feels really full and really tired after that. So that is Santa, and that is the number of calories. You know, for a normal adult, you're looking at between 2 and 2,500. So basically he's nearly up there. Add a little bit, add some pudding, and he's done for, pretty much. So that's question 10. Each of Santa's reindeer has eaten 15% of their body weight extra on Christmas Day and now weigh 15% more. Can you draw a bar chart of their differing weights rounded up to the nearest 5 if their starting weights were Dasher, 100 kilograms, which is 115, Prancer, 130, which turns into 150, Vixen, 115, which goes to either 135 or 130. It was dead on in between, so either one I would have accepted. Comet, 200 to 230, Cupid, 150 to 175 or 170, Donna, 170 to 195, Blitzen to 130 to 150, and Rudolph, 165 to 190. Now, what you get the marks for, x-axis, so the one that is horizontal, the axis that is horizontal, you get 1 point for just simply saying names of reindeer, or if you named the reindeer. You then get on the y-axis a point for the scale 0 to 250. So if you say using the big boxes, you could do each big box is worth 50, each big box is worth 25. It depends on which graph paper you use. But one of the things that you can do to improve your graph is to make sure that it's at least half a page, if not bigger. Okay, that's the minimum size it should be. It shouldn't be really tiny. It should be going above half a page. And then you get 2 points for plotting. And the bars should be straight, should be done with a ruler, and should be horizontally and vertically straight. You can have a gap in between, or you don't have to have a gap in between. It doesn't really matter, but as long as you get there. Right, there we go. So, what you should have is a maximum score of 28. If you have completed it, there's the Christmas crossword answers. So you can see all the answers there in the right place if you've completed that. And then the last thing I wanted to say was, as much as this has been a tough year, do enjoy your holiday and remember to keep safe. 2021 is no doubt going to be much better than 2020. So we all look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you very much. Goodbye.